Welcome to the Explainer. Okay, today we're jumping right into a complete start-to-finish roadmap of Forex trading. We're going from that completely zero-risk demo simulator phase all the way up to pulling the trigger on professional, live ECN execution. Let's dive right in.
Here is our roadmap. We're covering the Forex flight simulator, setting up your demo, a strategy for small accounts, graduating to ECN execution, and finally, the top broker platforms.
First up, the Forex flight simulator. You know, one of the biggest anxieties when you're first approaching financial markets is that totally valid fear of just losing your money while you're literally still figuring out what the buttons do, right? That is exactly why we start with the ultimate low-stress learning environment. I absolutely love this flight simulator metaphor from our source material because it just hits the nail on the head. Think about it. A pilot doesn't just jump into a commercial jet with a couple hundred passengers on day one. No way! They spend hours in a simulator that mimics the real thing perfectly. In Forex, your simulator is fueled by virtual credits. You can completely crash the plane, figure out exactly what went wrong, and just hit reset. No fiery explosions, and more importantly, no actual capital lost.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what shifts when you finally make that leap from virtual to real. Capital risk? Obviously, that shoots from 0 to 100%, but the psychological impact? Man, that's the real shocker. In a demo, it's just a low-stress educational tool. But in reality, when real money is on the line, fear and greed absolutely enter the chat. You're also going to see a big difference in execution speed and slippage. In a simulator, execution is instant. Boom, done. In real life, especially during a crazy news event, the market is moving incredibly fast, and you might get a slightly different price than you actually clicked on. This right here is exactly why practice is non-negotiable. To really understand why those differences happen, we kind of need to look under the hood. In a demo account, your orders aren't actually hitting the live market. They're just processed entirely internally by the broker's software, which is why the reaction is instant. But with a real account, your capital is out there interacting directly with counterparties and that massive, complex interbank market infrastructure. You're suddenly plugged into the actual, real-world plumbing of global finance.
Moving on to part 2, setting up your demo.
Getting your hands on one of these simulators is crazy simple. Honestly, it takes less than 5 minutes. First thing, select a provider that actually adheres to strict regulatory standards, places like CySEC or the FCA, just so you're building habits in a trustworthy environment. Next up, registration. You just need an email, and yeah, these are pretty much always free. Then, pick your preferred platform. MetaTrader 4 or 5 are the big ones, and just download, install, and log in with those virtual credentials they email you. 4 super easy steps, and boom, your personal simulator is unlocked.
But once you're in, you gotta actively engage. Don't just go in there clicking randomly. Start by executing, say, at least 50 practice trades. Get a real feel for market orders versus limit orders. Draw some trend lines. Play around with the indicators. Then, really dig into that history tab and analyze. Look at your virtual drawdown, like how much should your account dip before you actually turn to profit? And finally, refine it. Tweak your position sizing based on those equity fluctuations. This is all about active, intentional learning, but with literally zero financial liability.
Number 3, strategy for small accounts.
Okay, so now that you know how to operate the simulator, you're going to need a flight plan. If you're planning to eventually trade live with a smaller account balance, well, defense is way more important than offense. The absolute #1 priority is capital preservation. And how do we do that? Tight risk control and utilizing what are called microlots. These let you trade in much smaller increments, so a couple of bad trades won't completely wipe out your account.
Let's walk through exactly what a simple, small account strategy looks like chronologically on a daily time frame. Day 1, it's all about patience. You spot a trending market and you wait for a price correction. You're looking for that dip down to a key support level or a moving average. Don't just jump in. You wait for Day 2, confirmation. This is where you're hunting for a clear signal, maybe a bullish engulfing candlestick pattern, or a nice bounce in volume to confirm that buyers are actually stepping back in. And then Day 3 is your exit plan. You logically set your profit target at the previous price high, and, this is absolutely crucial, you strictly set your stop loss just below that recent swing low. You gotta protect that capital. It's a really solid, structured, 3-step approach.
Section 4, graduating to ECN execution. So once you've dialed in that strategy and mastered the basics, it's time to graduate. We're moving up to the professional, real-world arena of live execution. And understanding what ECN actually means is a huge part of this. It stands for Electronic Communication Network. Instead of the old dealing desk model, where the broker might actually be taking the other side of your trade, an ECN connects you directly to global liquidity providers. We're talking banks, hedge funds, big institutions. It's widely considered the absolute gold standard for market transparency.
Now, why exactly is it the gold standard? Well, first off, unmatched transparency. You're getting direct access to the Level 2 order book and the actual real-time market spreads. Second, zero conflict of interest. Since the broker's never the counterparty to your trade, they aren't secretly betting against you. They're just earning a small, fixed commission on the transaction. And third, superior execution speed. You get much lower latency and instant fills. If you're running high-frequency strategies, if you're scalping or trying to trade around really volatile news events, that fraction of a second speed advantage is absolutely critical for protecting your capital.
Finally, Section 5, Top Broker Platforms. To wrap up this journey, you're going to need the right tech to match those newly acquired skills. Let's look at how these stack up. Exness usually tops the ratings because they have this highly intuitive desktop experience, making that transition from demo to live feel really seamless. Now, if you're an algorithmic trader, I see Markets as a standout because they provide minimal latency with top-tier ECN connectivity. Looking for an institutional-grade environment? Black Bull Markets is fantastic for that. Robo4X is really great if you're looking to scale up through different account models, while Fusion Markets is perfect for the cost-conscious trader wanting excellent low-cost pricing. And hey, if you're just starting out with real funds, OlympaTrade has a super beginner-friendly interface and very low minimum deposit requirements. Basically, whatever your specific strategy requires, there's a perfect technological fit out there for you. So, I'll leave you with this question. Will the practice you put in today truly be the foundation of your success tomorrow? Remember, taking that step into a free demo account is the first vital move toward real financial literacy in these markets. Navigating foreign exchange is a skill that can quite literally yield dividends for a lifetime. Treat the simulator with respect, master your risk control, really understand the underlying infrastructure, and you'll be incredibly well positioned for the real thing. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and happy learning.